That's not a short-term project. That's a multi-year project, and we think the company has, a significant cost advantage versus a lot of their peers, particularly Western OEMs, and certainly has worked through a lot of the ramp challenges that a lot of those Western OEMs are working through right now.
Taking a look at Nikola here, shares are plunging today. That's after the EV maker said its 2023 deliveries are going to be at risk after an investigation into battery packs led to a recall of over 200 trucks. This is a small-ish company. When we talk about deliveries, let me just give the year-to-date totals. In wholesale, it's 76. That's 76 units. In retail, it's 99.
In this video, Tesla stock analyst Colin Rush, who clearly has a large brain and a pretty good understanding of Tesla, has a few thoughts. And while we're talking about brains and their sizes, on the other end of the spectrum, Nikola. Turns out that despite claims of Trevor Meltdown Milton that execution was the easy part, the gravy train has yet to leave the station. That's putting it lightly. And while we're exploring the bell curve as it relates to decisions made by retail investors, I never thought I'd be saying this. I've ripped relentlessly on Nikola investors, but bro, I think there is a stock, an EV stock, that has finally eclipsed the insanity and the idiocy of the folks who are piling into Nikola stock thinking that was a really great idea. I've covered it in my latest exclusive Patreon video, so check the link in the pinned comment if you'd like to join. I wish I was kidding.
Taking a look at Nikola here, shares are plunging today. That's after the EV maker said its 2023 deliveries are going to be at risk after an investigation into battery packs led to a recall of over 200 trucks. Now, Nikola also announced a $323 million convertible bond deal. And Julie, this is a small-ish company. When we talk about deliveries, let me just give the year-to-date totals. In wholesale, it's 76. That's 76 units. In retail, it's 99.
Remember when Trevor Meltdown Milton said execution was the easy part? I think Nikola, who are now becoming a real company, actually delivering real trucks and then recalling them, are learning that the execution is the hard part. Less than 200 vehicles in total delivered for the full year so far, some to commercial customers and some to retail. Talk about a gravy train. And if you missed it, I did actually exclusively cover the Nikola battery recall debacle on an exclusive X video a couple of days ago. If you want to join X and not miss out on any exclusive content, check the link in the pinned comment.
So do these recalls really mean anything in the bigger picture? This is a company that's still ramping up. So we'll have to see there. But I was struck by the fact that they're basically diluting their shareholders, $323 million. And also, this is sold by the company directly. They're not using their Wall Street agents to do this. These are people who would be known to the company insiders to do this. And this just really kind of speaks to me as to the company's culture, that it has foregone a number of routes that similar companies have chosen. They had that partnership with General Motors that fell apart years ago. It just seems to be one of these secretive companies. And this raising money directly, it's not necessarily a bad thing, but it just reminds me of something that a small cap company would go and do.
Well, effectively, I mean, it is a small, I don't know what the market cap of Nikola is at this point, but it's
$1.5 billion. So,
okay, so not that small, but
given its production, it is very tiny.
Yes, exactly. And I mean, I guess on the one hand, it's encouraging that they can still raise capital.
The fact that this company can still raise money is just further evidence that the bell curve is real. Nikola themselves have had going concern warnings. They're literally warning investors, we may go bankrupt. We are running out of money. We may not be in business in 12 months' time. Red alert. The fact that anyone is still... like I said, the bell curve is real.
They keep needing to do so because they're not making money. They're not making very many cars.
Right.
And, so it's an issue. I mean, the shares are pulling back another 11% today. Nikola has just been, mostly pulling back over the course of its existence. I'm just looking back at at when the company came public. It's now back to 2018, and at the time, $10 a share. Was this?
Yeah, I think it was a SPAC.
A D-SPAC, I guess it was. So from 10,
one of the early ones,
to $1.74. Yeah,
I'm looking at the Wi-Fi Interactive. I'll chart it real quickly before we move on to another EV maker. But this is a max chart, and this spike right here, this was not in 2021 with GameStop. No, this was in 2020. That was on the EV partnership with General Motors I was talking about. That fell apart.
One of Mary Barra's finest moments was announcing this wonderful partnership with Nikola to produce the Nikola computer rendering that was obviously a stock pump that Nikola never intended on actually producing. This isn't the benefit of hindsight speaking. I clearly covered this deal at the time. I pointed out that the Badger was a gigantic stock pump, had fake specs, They brought in some guy called Heavy Dong or whatever, paid him a pile of money. He's reading a script saying how great this truck is. He's never even seen the thing. None of the specs made sense. It's basically an F-150 with a new skin, a bunch of ridiculous ideas like a built-in water cooler to recycle the hydrogen. What? None of it made sense. It was a stock pump to lure in dumbass retail investors, and it worked. And then, extremely disturbing red flag after red flag. This partnership never made any sense. In essence, the partnership was this. Nikola is going to use General Motors to produce the Nikola Badger, the greatest truck the world's ever seen. That the world had never seen, just some computer renderings. Nikola was going to use a bunch of GM technology in the Nikola Badger, despite the fact that Nikola was touting the incredible technology they developed themselves to use in the Badger. Huge red flag. Nikola was agreeing to a huge production contract to pay hundreds of millions of dollars to GM to make the Badger, and GM was going to get a fuck ton of equity in Nikola. In other words, Nikola just wanted to pay for some credibility. Again, a stock pump in my opinion, by getting GM on board to partner with this fake truck that would never actually be produced. The fact that Nikola was going to use GM technology, GM was going to manufacture the vehicle, and GM was going to get a huge chunk of Nikola in exchange for what exactly? All GM wanted was some EV street cred. And congratulations, Mary, you picked the biggest con man of this century, Trevor Meltdown Milton, to partner, to get some of that EV credibility, to go in the media, we're partnering, we care about electric vehicles. You fucking moron. And I've got receipts, guys. Go watch the videos that I was posting about this thing. Nikola Badger, stock pump. They're all there. This was obvious at the time. Yet we just saw the stock was astronomical. It got to like $70 a share or something ridiculous. In fact, let me check. $65.90 was the peak closing price. Currently down 97.85%. And if you thought that was dumb, check out the latest Patreon exclusive video. I wish I was joking. No, I really wish I was joking. If you thought Nikola was bad, bro, you ain't seen nothing yet. I cannot believe people just don't learn. Check out the latest Patreon exclusive video if you want to know what I'm talking about. And join with the link in the pinned comment.
We got to ask you about Tesla. Remember Tesla? But they were up almost 8% this week, regaining some ground after being down 11% last week on those price cuts in China. Is NVIDIA the new Tesla? What do you do with the stock here, Michael?
I sell it. I'm a fundamental old-fashioned guy, kind of. I want to see real numbers. Look at the numbers here. This stock's up 88% this year. It's 66 times earnings. The market cap is $740 billion. Ford has a market cap of $47 billion. GM has a market cap of $48 billion. That's $95 billion for Ford and GM versus $740 billion for this. I understand you believe in Elon Musk as a magician, but that's not the way you invest money. Based on the numbers, without magic, this one is a sell. And so pat yourself on the back, take your profits, go out and have a nice dinner tonight. But this is a lot of long-term investment based on the numbers. Unless something magical occurs, I can't invest my clients' money on magic.
You heard it here first, folks. Tesla is not a long-term investment based on the numbers unless something magical happens, like autonomy, like halving the price of a compelling electric vehicle, like massively scaling the energy business, like sustaining their already unassailable lead, like retaining technological dominance, like scaling faster than any other company in history, manufacturing complicated objects, like setting incredibly audacious goals that everyone laughed at and said were impossible years ago, decade ago or more, and then achieving those goals. Yeah, fair point. 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now, a lot of people are going to be looking back at Tesla going, man, well, how could anyone possibly have seen that coming? And the truth is, most people won't have seen it coming. But a few people will have, and some of those people may in fact have an historical archive of videos spanning a decade or two seeing it coming before it came. I'm not talking about anyone specifically, of course, just in general terms. I'm sure that a few people will have seen what happens coming before it happened. Maybe some of those people will even have been putting their money where their mouth is.
Stock still in bear market territory. Joining us now is Oppenheimer analyst Colin Rush. He has a hold rating on Tesla. First, let's just talk about yesterday's move. Is it technical in nature? Was there some kind of fundamental basis for it, or just simply a stock that's been oversold that received a bit of a bounce on a little bit of good news?
We all know the real reason that Tesla stock went up is because the one true God, the flying spaghetti monster, wanted it to. Now, trolling aside, always does my head in. Everyone always wants an explanation, a reason why the stock go up. Please tell me exactly. Was it technical? Did the chart say it was going to go up? Was it based on some news? I think often, many folks, especially within the finance media, like to reverse engineer to conjure up a reason. Oh, that's why the stock went up or down or up or down or up or down. But as I've said a million times, the only thing that causes a stock to do anything is a collective buying and selling activity of all participants in the stock market on that day. It's human nature to want explanations for things which we cannot actually explain. Now, the best we can do, there may be correlations, there may be events that cause net buying or net selling of a particular stock. Well, let's just say there's extremely bullish news. Let's just say Tesla blows away expectations on this, that, or the other delivery number or quarterly result. Yet, despite this very bullish news, a few big institutional investors, for totally unrelated reasons on that same day, happen to be selling large positions in Tesla stock. That could force the stock price lower, even though there was extremely bullish news. Now, somebody with a small brain might start explaining, well, the reason the stock went down despite the good news is because the good news wasn't good enough, failing to mention that there was a lot of big money dumping the stock on that day, which forced the price lower. A detail that in this hypothetical scenario, they were oblivious to and therefore didn't enter the equation, their rationalization, their explanation for why the stock went up and or down in this particular case. This is a really dumb game for people to play, trying to explain why a stock's moving up or down. This is why I prefer to focus on what I think fair valuation is, and not just today or tomorrow, but over a very long period of time, as you guys will know. I model Tesla's fair valuation out over the next decade, actually, much longer than that, but I publicly share my 10-year fair valuation for Tesla stock. There's an entire valuation model available to supporters on Patreon at the investor level and above. Click the link in the pinned comment. It produces my fair valuation. That's all I care about. And my fair valuation is not a prediction of what the stock's going to be worth, because I cannot predict the behavior of all participants in the stock market on Tesla stock on every single day for the rest of time. Nonsensical. All I'm trying to understand is the stock currently trading for less or more than what I believe fair valuation to be? Simple as that. I'm now going to ask artificial intelligence if it can explain the real reason, the true reason a stock would go up or down on any particular day. I wonder if ChatGPT is more intelligent than the average investor. Let's see if ChatGPT delivers the goods. My prompt, please provide the literal reason a stock price increases or decreases on any given day. Let's see what ChatGPT has to say. The literal reason a stock price increases or decreases on any given day is that there are more buyers than sellers at a given price, leading to a price increase, or more sellers than buyers at a given price, leading to a price decrease. Stock prices are determined by the balance of buying and selling activity in the market. When someone wants to buy a stock, they submit a buy order specifying the maximum price they're willing to pay. Conversely, when someone wants to sell, they submit a sell order specifying the minimum price they're willing to accept. 1. Stock price increase. If there's a high demand to buy a stock, i.e. many buy orders, and a limited supply of shares available for sale, i.e. few sell orders, buyers may be willing to pay a higher price than the current market price to purchase the stock. This pushes the stock's price up. 2. Stock price decreases. If there's a high demand to sell the stock, i.e. many sell orders, and not enough demand to buy, i.e. few buy orders, sellers might be willing to accept a lower price than the current market price to sell their shares. This pushes the stock's price down. Turns out, ChatGPT is far more intelligent and rational and reasonable than the vast majority of investors and practically every single person on Wall Street. Now, in fairness, as ChatGPT points out, it's important to note that the underlying reasons for an imbalance in buying and selling demand can be manifold, aka lots of different reasons. Company performance, broader market trends, economic news, geopolitical events, investor sentiment, and many other factors can influence investors' decisions to buy or sell a stock. But we must understand, unless you individually ask and get a response from literally every single participant in the stock market who bought or sold Tesla stock on that particular day, and they tell you, this is the reason that I bought or sold the stock, you can never know. All we can say is that there was either high demand to buy the stock and low supply of people selling the stock, or high demand to sell the stock and a low supply of people willing to buy the stock.
I think it's more the latter than the other dynamics. I mean, the company is going through a bit of a product refresh here, and I think some of the discounting reports that were out there around pricing were oversold here, and I think people were digesting some of that. You know, you also see a stock move 20% like this one has, and a company that really is pioneering, important technology over the coming decades.
Now, that was music to my ears. Colin Rush there, analyst covering Tesla stock, talking about Tesla pioneering technology, important technology over the coming, what did he say? Weeks, months, quarters, years? No, decades. It's a rare delight when I hear a Wall Street analyst talking about Tesla and talking about a time frame spanning multiple decades.
And I think folks, just look at this and say, time to take a short-term trade on this or cover a short.
Makes sense. So you have a hold rating. The stock's basically flat over the last year or so. What do you think would be the catalyst to the upside or downside from here?
For us, it's really around a change in dynamics around the manufacturing margins and, incremental evidence around the ability to monetize subscription services or recurring revenue, whether it's on the insurance side, on the self-driving technology. But the stock this year has moved, in large part around the AI trade. And so what we're looking at on our end is that it's going to take a while for them to monetize some of that IP and the investments that they're making now. These are very complicated challenges. There's a variety of technologies that are getting pioneered right now, and as the company works through that, and we think they will be successful ultimately, there's going to be an investment cycle and lower margins for longer, and that's why we're staying on the sidelines. And so as we look at this company, it looks like it's kind of in hibernation mode, or not necessarily hibernation mode, but in a flat line here for a little while as the company works through the real productization and monetization of the technology investments that they're making.
Sitting on the sidelines and waiting to see? When Tesla early this year unveiled a half-price manufacturing system for a vehicle, it's going to completely end the internal combustion engine vehicle industry in one fell swoop. Tesla clearly on the cusp of solving autonomy again. I still stand by my long-term prediction. First robotaxi probably late 2024. Cybertruck delivery is just around the corner. The so-called competition, losing catastrophic amounts of money on every vehicle sold, coming crawling to Tesla. Please, can we use your chargers? Oh, by the way, can we put your plugs on our vehicles starting next year or the year after? Yes, thanks, great. Last I checked, roughly half of the analysts on Wall Street have a hold rating on Tesla stock right now. Bunch of pussies. Now I get it. Wall Street analysts are judged on very short-term performance, maybe 12 months at most. They're scared because economic shit's hitting the fan. The automotive industry is imploding. Plenty of tough times ahead. To be sitting on the sidelines when you can see the writing on the wall, in 2033, every single one of these analysts is going to wish they had a buy rating on Tesla stock back in 2023. Most of them have a price target that's within 5 or 10% of Tesla stock right now. No courage. Where are the balls on Wall Street?
And on the long-term side of things, for capacity, you note in your latest note that this is a company that receives IRA benefits. They're investing heavily to expand that. What kind of time projection are you looking at on that front to see things really ramp up in terms of capacity?
They are getting immediate benefit from those IRA provisions, so that's happening right now. I mean, the real core dynamic here around margins is the competitive dynamic, and the competition out of Asia is getting very aggressive around pricing, and the margins on the hardware here with the cars are going to be challenged for a little bit as the industry goes through a cost reduction effort to really break through and move into the mass market. That's not a short-term project. That's a multi-year project, and we think the company has a significant cost advantage versus a lot of their peers, particularly Western OEMs, and certainly has worked through a lot of the ramp challenges that a lot of those Western OEMs are working through right now. And this is just a multi-year process, and so as we look at this, waiting for the consumer to rebound a little bit, rates to stabilize, and see that consistent sell-through and the ability to start raising prices or at least raising margins for the company, which we think probably happens over the next 12 to 24 months, but it's just not the next 3 to 6 months.
To Colin's point, economic headwinds probably going to last another 12 plus months, but again, robotaxis are just around the corner. Tesla's unveiled the next-gen manufacturing system to halve the cost of producing a compelling electric vehicle. Do you want to wait until we're through to the end of the economic headwinds? After the markets realized this and the stocks surged? Is that the time? Oh, yeah, it's okay. I guess everyone's okay now. The sentiment's back. Call me crazy. Probably true. But I would prefer to be accumulating the stock when sentiment is as bad as it's going to get, when there's uncertainty, when we're not out the other side, as opposed to waiting until we are out the other side when everyone else has figured that out as well and then continued piling into the stock. Remember, robotaxi is just around the corner on the next-gen vehicle platform. Giga Mexico, couple of years, those things will be rolling off production lines. Cybertruck, almost 2 million reservations, first deliveries later this year. These things are all obvious. So call me crazy, but I'd rather be buying now at these levels than waiting until then at those levels. Maybe I'm just out of my mind.
Right. Well, we'll see how long this shift in momentum can really last. Shares up about 1.7% again today. Thank you, Colin. Appreciate it.
So to recap, despite the enormous promises made by Trevor Meltdown Milton, the gravy train has yet to leave the station, It turns out execution is the hard part, not the easy part. Colin Rush believes more economic headwinds before things improve. At the same time, knowing there's a huge opportunity on the other end of this, he's just recommending investors hold Tesla stock while they're on the cusp of solving autonomy and have unveiled their next-gen platform to halve the price of electric vehicles. Colin, if you'd like to borrow my testicles for a short period of time, just give me a call, brother. I'm happy to help out. And despite many people wanting to have explanations, very clear explanations, that's why the stock went up, that's why the stock went down. At the end of the day, the only reason the stock goes up or down is the collective buying and selling activity of all participants on that stock. If more people are buying, less people are selling, up. More people are selling, less people are buying, down. Anything beyond that is pure speculation. Might give you a nice false sense of security, but I'm much more comfortable not having answers to some questions than not being able to question some answers. Athletic Greens AG1 has given me a massive, meaningful boost in energy, allowing me to do a lot more every day, including using my brain more and using my body more. I highly recommend you guys and girls check it out. Athletic Greens AG1 is an excellent way to fill in nutritional gaps. It's got 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, and whole food source nutrients, plus prebiotics and probiotics and digestive enzymes and adaptogens to help you deal with stress. Plus, if you click the link in the pinned comment or head to drinkag1.com/SMR, you can get yourself a 1-year free supply of vitamin D3 and K2. But don't take my word for it. Here's what some of you guys and girls have to say. AG1 has changed my life. I was, as you described, treating myself like a circus, ate like trash, rarely exercised, used alcohol as a stress crutch, cannabis also. AG1 is what gave me the kick in the ass, got me back to the gym, motivated me to do more for myself, family, my business, etc. Keep doing what you do. Now, I know there's some skeptics, the same kind of people who think Elon Musk is a fraud, reading this going, what do you thought? There's no way that's possible, bro. It must be a placebo effect. Believe it or not, this is a recurring theme. If you give your body everything it needs to feel and perform its best, including having a lot more energy, you'll need ways to use that energy. For me personally, that includes more exercise, moving my body more social activity, and more cognitively demanding tasks, including producing a ton of exclusive content over on Twitter and on Patreon, plus my daily YouTube uploads. The proof's in the pudding. On to another testimonial from a viewer of this channel. SMR, you asked me to provide feedback on AG1. Here it is. It has helped with mental acuity, stamina, and intestinal waste management. Can't read between the lines. It certainly helps with regularity and digestion. That's what the digestive enzymes are for. It has also dramatically reduced my cravings for sugar. You guys need to stop eating sugar. It's fucking poison. I'm 50, 5'9", and overweight, aka a fat motherfucker. I think that's a technical term for overweight, isn't it? Is it fat motherfucker or obese? I can't remember. I average 100 hours a week in the West Texas oil fields as a safety supervisor. Jesus Christ, dude. No wonder you're struggling to keep your weight under control. 100 hours a week. Brutal. It has helped me lose weight. It is not an appetite suppressant. It can help fat people suppress cravings, and motivation to be healthier is critical for changing your diet. Love you, brother. Again, this is a great point and something people really don't seem to grasp. If you have more energy, everything becomes easier. It's like turning on easy mode for life. A few years ago, before I was taking AG1, my health was trash. I was struggling to get through the day, had afternoon fatigue. The last thing I wanted to do was either use my brain or move my body. Didn't have the energy. Now, my biggest struggle every day is figuring out ways to use that energy. I'm exercising way more, doing a lot more with my friends and family, and of course, my work output has increased substantially. And you can fact check me. Check out the average length of my videos I was posting to YouTube 3 years ago. Need I say more? And one final testimonial. Love this one. Okay, here's the deal for me with this AG1 shit. I'm 41 years old and not the type to eat, drink, smoke, or sleep healthy, so I was skeptical. That being said, here's what I experienced. Day 1, meh. Day 2, afternoon fatigue was about 45 minutes late. Day 3, 0 afternoon fatigue. Day 4, 0 afternoon fatigue plus extra energy. Day 5, again, 0 afternoon fatigue plus energy. Wondering, what the fuck, really? See, this is the thing, right? The results for many people are just almost too good to be true. This is the same experience I had. My afternoon fatigue just vanished out of nowhere. I'm like, wait, what the fuck? Why am I not tired in the afternoons anymore? Surely, it's not that AG1, is it? Turns out it was. Day 6 and 7, same thing. Day 8, same thing. Plus, I had the want to get things done around the house that I normally would slack off and not get done. Again, the point, extra energy, you'll need to use it, you'll find ways to use it. Day 9, 10, and 11, and today is day 12. I fucking love it. So however you managed to get me to buy it, I'm so glad you did. Thank you so much, SMR. It really changed me so far. Guys, this shit really works. Just try it. By the way, this is the reason I continue to relentlessly promote AG1. A lot of people get real fucking mad in the comments. Oh my God, Snake Oil Salmon's sold out. Oh my God, he's a scammer. This is fraud. But constantly, I'm pretty sure everyone making these comments is also currently short Tesla stock. I'm not particularly concerned about people having a negative perception, those folks suffering from small brain syndrome, still living in my bum's basement syndrome, etc., writing mean comments, claiming AG1's a scam or it doesn't work. I mean, bro, When I get feedback like this is what keeps me going. And remember, there is a 90-day money-back guarantee. There's nothing to lose here. Just try this stuff for a month, and if you don't get these results, get your money back. See, it's a literal no-brainer. It's an IQ test at this point in time. Testimonial after testimonial after testimonial like this. Get your money back if it doesn't work. Just try it for a month, and if it doesn't work, get your money back. Today's the day. It's finally time. Be like this guy who was a massive skeptic, but finally, after 1,000 promotions in a row, caved in, tried AG1, and has results like this. Head to drinkag1.com/SMR or click the link at the pinned comment, and please, let me know how you're feeling in a few weeks' time. Now, if you'll excuse me, time to put my extra energy to good use. I'll be recording some more exclusive content for Patreon and my Twitter subscribers. So click the links in the pinned comment. See you over on Twitter and or Patreon, and don't forget to grab your AG1. Love ya.